Hello and welcome everybody. I am NPC Destroyer, and this is NPC Destroyer's AI Arena. So this time, last time we had the Expansionists versus the Glass Cannon Collective, with the winner coming on top as being the Glass Cannon Collective. This matchup is going to be the Turtle Bastion versus the Relentless Swarm. As you can see, the Turtle Bastion will be represented by the white and teal colors, while the Relentless Swarm is represented by yellow and blue. Now, if you didn't catch on from last time, I have absolutely no control over AI player names, so they're always randomized. We will also be seeing what factions they prefer to play as. This will be an interesting one. As you can see, we have a circular map selected, and our two teams are kind of split diagonally, like so. So this should be an interesting matchup. And I guess with that being said, we should go ahead and begin round one of the Turtle Bastion versus the Relentless Swarm. Let's see how this matchup goes. Okay. Beginning our matchup, we're going to start with the Turtle Bastion up here. We have Maddox, who is Aeon. And over here, also Aeon Illuminate. Next we have the Relentless Swarm. Come in here, we have Riley. And we also have, again, UEF, or thank you. Maddox and Hawthorne representing the Turtle Bastion, with Riley and Sanctuary representing the Relentless Swarm. Remember that white and teal are one team, yellow and blue are the other team. The Turtle Bastion up here to the north and east, with the west and south being the Relentless Swarm. This should be an interesting, and I believe it's going to turn out to be a rather quick match. So let's see how we do here. Looks like everybody, except for the one Hawthorne, everybody wants to go land class. Hawthorne is doing a mix of land and air to begin with. So this should be an interesting fight. We should hold back and just watch from a top-down view for at least the first 5 minutes or so. Within the first 5 minutes, that gives the two teams the opportunity to collect some information about their opponents, to see what's going on. And it looks like Riley down here is kind of locked. Not quite sure what he's doing. He's only got one land factory up, while the others are all starting off with 2 factories. So Riley is he's definitely stuck with just the one for now. That may come to bite him in the butt later, especially when you have a Weibo coming in for some initial strikes, possibly gathering intel. Yep, looks like he's going in for an initial strike. Or not. Better get that Weibo out of here before it gets shot down. Nope, he's not going to do that. He's too busy trying to get a target. And just like that, the Weibo gets shot down, without dealing any damage itself. Although Riley is already starting to move some of his assault tanks and anti-air towards Hawthorne here. As you can see, Sanctuary is also starting to move his attack tanks closer towards Maddox there. Pausing them right there for now. Possibly as a deterrent for the time being. Hawthorne is definitely putting in a little bit of effort into his air units. You can ignore that for now, should be fine. And he's already beginning to see that Riley's moving some assault units closer towards his base, so he is going to try and redirect some of his units to attack. And there we go. Riley has just started work. Oh, 1, 2, 3 land factories. Okay. I did not know he was setting up a 3rd land factory. That is interesting, having one just outside of the plateau here. And Hawthorne is working to repel this small incursion. Looks like he wins this little exchange. It is a rather small exchange. Although Sanctuary here has created quite a mass of units that he's moving towards the center stage. This should be interesting to see where he goes with that, but unknown to him, Maddox has started moving some assault units and mobile missile launchers closer and closer towards his base. Base of operation is under threat. That may cause Sanctuary to recall his units back to him in defense. But we should just sit back and wait to see what he does. Sanctuary has just begun working on a 3rd land factory. We still only have 2 land factories for Maddox up in the north. Oh, and it looks like Maddox is... he is not pressing the attack yet, which is an interesting call. He amassed another large group of units to the north. He's moving them down. He may try to call them to group up. And it looks like Hawthorne is greatly underprepared for this incoming assault, though he does have these few tanks that are kind of scouting out the area and acting as a deterrent for now. It looks like Sanctuary does not have a good read on how many tanks are actually here in defense, so he does want to move them back. Oh, and with that little piece of information in the exchange here, looks like Sanctuary is... Nope, not quite. Looked like Sanctuary may be rethinking his advance, but not for very long. He's returning his units down here, likely to try and... Oh. There we see him moving units back through the center towards Hawthorne's base. Hawthorne is greatly outnumbered in terms of land units here, but he does have air transport and a couple of Weebos available to rain fire down on these approaching units. Looks like he's trying to use the air transport for collecting units. Yep, that's exactly what he's doing. Moving them where, though, is unknown. Hawthorne has called up a land factory to be constructed right here. That's pretty bold. Pretty bold of him to try setting up a land factory so close to the center. Looks like he's wanting to engage these units down here that just destroyed a mech. In come the Weebos for support. There they go. He's fending off the attack from Sanctuary at the moment. Sanctuary may be trying to reset the battle or try and draw them in towards the center to get this group into position for a flank. Looks like Sanctuary is trying to influence that little skirmish as much as possible, trying to draw Hawthorne in for the kill. Hawthorne's losing control of some of his forward tanks there. As that skirmish goes on, it looks like Sanctuary is going to move this little mass of units more north towards Maddox's base. Or possibly... Yep, up towards Maddox. Maddox is trying to apply some pressure down here on Sanctuary. That Maddox is already going in for a small assault on the base of Riley here, but this advance is almost certainly going to be. There it is, only 1 tanks left. That's the end of that. Oh, but look at this. Maddox and Sanctuary definitely getting into it over here. Maddox may take advantage of Sanctuary being so depleted here. It might make an advance on Sanctuary's base. Sanctuary's trying everything possible to keep Maddox at bay, especially with 2 more constructed land factories up there. This is getting interesting as we're seeing the teams, more so the Relentless Swarm team here, branching out from their initial bases. Branching out and creating some spam units, as it looks like, while the Turtle Bastion is playing it relatively safe and remaining in their respective zones, with the exception of Hawthorne here, creating that forward land factory and another land factory back here. Trying to create a defensive perimeter, it looks like. Have this exchange going on over here. Watch and see how this plays out. From out here, it looks like Maddox is definitely attempting to apply pressure on Sanctuary and Riley simultaneously, trying to display dominance over the middle region. These units are getting sandwiched. Maddox is going to have any real impact here. He needs to remove these 2 land factories. Unfortunately, the land factories are also defended by point defense turrets as well as anti-air. So he's got to move in and focus on those turrets first and foremost. Doing some damage to a point defense turret. Not enough to take it down. Open up the minimap so we can keep an eye on what's going on outside. Another one being set up right here to hold Maddox's forces at bay. Maddox has made great progress on that first factory. The second one is correct. Especially much important anti-air is Maddox taking down the second land. Maddox has successfully wiped Sanctuary out of this territory here. Now he has a direct line of sight onto Sanctuary's primary base of operations. We have a little bit going on as there are gunships that are raining down on these tanks. Maddox is also joining his forces to harass this group of land units. If these gunships are going to be successful, they have to take out the mobile AA first. And it seems like the Turtle Bastion is displaying dominance here in the match so far. Although, look at Riley. He is encouraging some of his land units to move out there to assist. This is becoming quite the interesting battle as Maddox has made it into the primary base of Sanctuary and is raining hell on his land. The Sanctuary just constructing an air factory now. It may be too little too late, but only time will tell. The Turtle Bastion absolutely has dominance over the middle portion of the map. Relentless Swarm is losing ground, and losing ground fast. It is interesting to me that Sanctuary is the one who is suffering the most losses here, considering that Riley has sat back and delayed some of his construction a bit. As you can see, Riley is trying to make an effort to remove Hawthorne from this corner of the map. He is advancing quickly on this outside land factory. We may just see a back and forth exchange from both teams for a while. Remember, folks, this is round one of a best of 3 to see who moves on in our AI arena for the month. With only 4 teams as of right now selected. And there is a mobilization of Weebos and gunships. Over... where will they be going? Looks like they're moving down here to support units a little better. Wow. We have Hawthorne and Maddox making... being highly efficient in their unit production, merging them into groups to assist each other. The Turtle Bastion, this is looking really, really good. Look at all of these mixed units here in the center of the map. With just this mass alone, the Turtle Bastion could wipe out one of these two in a matter of minutes. They only have to take the initiative and go for it. But the Turtle Bastion is... wow. They are gathering their numbers to be as efficient about this as possible. They're keeping Sanctuary on the back foot by destroying a few of his main base structures. Specifically, a couple of his land factories, and quite possibly an air factory. I was not keeping track. Oh, look at that. Riley is constructing a land gantry here to try and create some experimental units to hold off the Turtle Bastion from making any more progress. Now, we do have an effort here from the Relentless Swarm to try and distract Turtle Bastions from the larger game. These are smaller compared to what the Turtle Bastion has produced, but this can easily distract the team from their current goal. And it does not look like it's working as the Turtle Bastion is making its way towards Riley's base. It looks like Sanctuary is trying to make a desperate effort to take a stab at trying to take a stab at Maddox. And look at that. Rather than going straight for the internal base, they're taking out the outside operating factories first, and then moving in towards the center. Could make great use of their air dominance. Oh, and look at that. There is an experimental gantry constructed there by Maddox in the center stage. This could be interesting. It looks as though Sanctuary is trying to assist down here in the south. But Riley may not need the assist. Only time will tell from this mass of units down here. Oh, and they are quickly taking Riley down. That's going to be the first elimination. Now the Relentless Swarm is in trouble. Down one player. There is only Sanctuary left to defend himself. With that nuclear detonation, a large portion of units have also been destroyed. But that does not seem to matter, as the Turtle Bastion is making a beeline towards Sanctuary's inner base. Another land factory being constructed right on his doorstep. With that, we have an experimental assault block that is constructed. Look at this, they're moving in on Sanctuary's base. That is a lot of AA. We shall see if this advance is going to be enough to destroy, take down Sanctuary, or if a temporary vision. Sanctuary himself, as Tom is getting taking a shot at. Although, unfortunately, Sanctuary's factory is taking heavy damage. There's collective mobile artillery doing what they do best. Set up just at the entrance of Sanctuary's base. Sanctuary has some time to take his units and put them in towards defense. Sanctuary is taking some shots from mobile artillery. He needs defense, and he needs it back. Sanctuary has been eliminated. The Turtle Bastion has won this round against the Relentless Swarm. That was quite an interesting battle. Quite an interesting battle. Maddox and Hawthorne have won. The the Aeon Illuminate have won this round. Hawthorne has not made as much progress as either Riley or Sanctuary, but he does come up on the victory board. And that is it for round 1. Stay tuned for round 2. That'll be coming up in just a few minutes. I am not going anywhere. I will be back after a couple of minutes. Hang tight, everybody. Alright, welcome back everybody. This is NPC Destroyer's AI Arena. I am of course NPC Destroyer, and here we are in round 2 of the Turtle Bastion versus the Relentless Swarm. Now, if you were with us the previous round, the Turtle Bastion pulled out a victory the last round, bring them 1-0 in this matchup. Now remember, this is a best of 3, so the Turtle Bastion are currently in the advantage against their opponent, the Relentless Swarm. Now, these are all going to be the same rules as last time, so there is no rush timer. And there are also going to be no nukes available, as you can see in the chat there. Turtle Bastion are positioned in the top left portion of the map, whereas the Relentless Swarm is on the bottom right portion of the map. So you have white and cyan on the top left, blue and yellow on the bottom right. Keep in mind, those two are separated diagonally into their 2 teams respectively. We are next playing on the Etched Desert 2v2 map, and I'm not going to keep this match waiting any longer. Let's launch our next fight in this round 2 of a best of 3. Let's see if the Turtle Bastion are able to claim this victory altogether, or if we are tied 1-1 and have to go to a round 3. Let's get started. Alright, opening up here. The map is not too terribly large, but we are, of course, seeing how our teams are opening up, and they all decide to open up first as air factories. Now these guys down here, the Relentless Swarm, they need to pull through and claim a victory here. Otherwise, their run ends right here for this round of matches, or this grouping of matches. Can already see this is Clark. Clark is already beginning to push up more towards the center of the map, along with his companion, the Contact. Same goes for Amalia on the Turtle Bastion team, but his teammate Toth is kind of holding back a little more reserved. And we do see our first bombers are out. Now, because the Turtle Bastion are playing as Aeon, they do have those Weebos, which play as both a fighter and bomber role, whereas playing UEF, you have your separate bombers and fighters, or interceptors. So those Weebos can cause some problems for the bombers. They're not as problematic for any interceptors or fighters. But let's see. We do have here from the Contact. He's pushing his bombers a little deep into the map early on. We only just passed minute 2. Same thing goes for this Weebo here from Toth. It looks like they're building up their arsenal of bombers, not so many fighters or interceptors, which is what you would want to see to deal with those Weebos. They should understand their opponent's units, and oh wow, they just barely missed each other. Those Weebos, that Weebo could have caused some problems for those bombers and stopped them dead in their tracks, but went straight into Clark's primary base. Likely just to scout out the area to see what Clark is working with. Oh, and out goes our first fighter. The Wasp is up and ready to fight. Although Clark is not sending his Wasp in to deal with the Weebo. He's just holding back. And we do also see a gunship coming in here from Toth. And you can see they're pairing up their bombers as a team, moving around the outside edge of the map, up to the very north. And we do see a couple Weebos as well as a gunship patrolling the center map. They seem to be moving them in those kinds of groupings of one Weebo for one gunship. Do see some initial strikes here on a mass extractor. This group of bombers here is definitely moving in on the base to the north. Or possibly not. As the AI is calculating and determining what to do. They need to... Oh, and there they go. Those fighters need to engage. Albeit it's just the one here in the primary base. He has to engage to fend off any small shots fired at his mass extractors. Although he is being chased down by a Weebo as well. It looks like the contact is gathering up his bombers here first. With what looks like a coupling of Wasp escorts. That is smart when you're having to deal with hybrid fighters like Weebos. Also, correction, they are Weedos. It's a D. Weedoboth. And with the lack of fighters over here, these gunships... Oh, and they do have broadswords. He does have broadswords down here. But with a lack of wasps, he's going to be able to do very minimal damage on his opponent here. Get rid of that weasel bomb. Come on, you can do it. Oh, and look at that. Plenty of gunships just rolling through. They're ready to cause some damage. Looks like Clark here. Clark is gravely unprepared to deal with the incoming air assaults. Going to have to rely wholly on the AAA from his, or AA from his installations. With a lack of fighters, that's going to become a problem. The contact up here is actually gathering quite the number of fighters, so he has nothing to worry about. Look at that. And this is why you need to have those wasps. You need to manufacture wasps to deal with those air vehicles. Ooh, excuse me. And off go the bombers. Where are they heading to? Are they heading north? Possibly. Amalia may have some bomber problems on her hands. Look at that group of Weedos, as well as the gunships. They are going to be a huge problem for Clark down here. He is being harassed by these gunships. And he only has one fighter to defend his base. That is greatly concerning. Unfortunately, the contact does not seem to be willing to divert his fighters down to support Clark, so Clark is looking like he's on his own. Here, I'm going to open up our mini-map so we can keep an eye on the larger battlefield. Clark may be in trouble here. There, he's taking some serious damage from... Ooh, this may be an early end for Clark. This may turn out to be an early exit for him. He is in trouble. And up he goes in flames. Clark has been eliminated from this fight. What a shame, just at 13 minutes, that did not last long. This is looking great for the Turtle Bastion. Unfortunately, the Relentless Swarm, now being down one player, they're in some big trouble. All those fighters could have been supporting Clark. But unfortunately, the contact did not think it was appropriate. For some reason. In come those fighters. Take down those gunships. Fighters are not backing down. Or so it seems. Oh. In they go for another run. Another stab at those gunships. And it looks like... Yep, the contact has also been doing a fair number of harassment up here in the north for Amalia. But unfortunately, it looks as though her defenses are too strong against what the contact is able to put out. Looks like the contact's AA is pretty decent, although he is down a significant number of fighters as compared to previously. Although it is good, it seems like he does have at least one factory that is dedicated to producing those fighters.
Yeah, one of those factories is constantly putting out those wasps. So the contact is not at a complete loss. He will be rebuilding that fleet. Consistently, as time goes on. And it looks as though, right now, since he is down a comrade, the contact is unable to utilize his air forces to harass Amalia or Toph. You can see he's trying to construct another air factory. Try and keep up with the pressure. Let's just see if it is able to start putting out units on time. It is difficult with all of those gunships and Guidos coming in, as well as some sprinklings of land units here and there. Now it's gonna bother me. The name of their commander, Toph. Yeah. And it looks as though almost all of those air factories are shielded, so... And as you can see, the contact is moving up some of his air forces to begin trying to knock out this forward operating base here put up by Amalia. Amalia is doing well trying to establish herself in the center of the map. But it looks like the contact will be taking out her forward operating base, preventing her from using it effectively. Now that group of wasps is doing a fair amount of repelling. Repelling of gunships and repelling of Guidos. But with the fleet of wasps split into two, they will not be as effective. Look at this massive wave of gunships rolling through, trying to find the contact itself. The contact has already taken some damage. Nothing to sneeze at. That swarm of gunships has been repelled. But likely not for long. Looks like the contact needs to switch up his strategy a little bit if he is going to persevere. Though he is doing a tremendous job of repelling any aerial assault. Also looks as though the contact's own air forces are unable to effectively do any damage towards Amalia's base. Looks as though the contact is contemplating recalling his air forces his bombers, his gunships, back down to his base to defend against the moving ground forces. It does not look as though there are enough for him to worry about quite yet. Let's check in with our other two, see how they are getting on. Okay. Toth has created a forward... Oh, look at this. Contact has an air gantry already constructed and a second one on the way. Amalia has one of her own, though it is not actively constructing anything at the moment. This may tremendously help the Contact in his struggle against all the pressure. The mounting pressure. It's becoming quite a lot for him, but he is doing very, very well on his own, all things considered. The air assaults have been great, but... the Contact is managing to hold off enemy forces just enough so that he is able to create an AC-1000 gunship, experimental gunship. And it looks like another one may very well be on the way once this air gantry is completed, and it does seem that way. Look at that AC-1000 being constructed down there, in addition to whatever is going on down here. Cannot see it. This is starting to get interesting. There's another... Oh. Both Amalia and Toth have constructed air gantries of their own. The problem is that they have not been able to dedicate any resources to constructing experimental air units. That AC-1000 is on the move. Look at that. If the Contact is able to use experimental gunship units effectively, he can take out one of these two from the Turtle Bastion in quick order. Looks like he is moving up north to take out that center gantry. That may be a smart move. Otherwise, they could cause a lot of problems for you. Take it out. Very good. And another one is being constructed, but once again, they're not willing to put the resources into creating experimental air units. Look at that mega fortress. A mobile air factory, as well as another AC-1000. And the Contact now has 3 experimental air gantries available and working. This is incredible from the Relentless Swarm. Absolutely incredible. Now he is able to harass them with his swarm of bombers. Ooh, bombers and gunships. This is an impressive display of fortitude. it may be too early to tell which direction this battle is going to go, but I believe we can say that the Turtle Bastion is at a slight disadvantage right now because they are not able to capitalize on their experimental gantries. Look at this assault. Amalia is trying desperately to cause as much damage to the contact as possible. It does not look like she will succeed.
Commander destroyed.
And just like that, Amalia has been eliminated. Impressive breakthrough. Impressive. Now it is all up to Toth, which once again, not able to commit his resources to that experimental gantry. Oh my god. A grave miscalculation then. That was a grave miscalculation by the contact. He was worrying so much about Amalia that he forgot about Toth and his air power. What a fascinating battle that was. And that concludes round 2. Match 2, the Turtle Bastion versus the Relentless Swarm. The Turtle Bastion have come out with a victory 2-0. I thought that was potentially going to go in a very, very different way. Incredible. Well, in that case, match number 3 and the final match of this batch of competition in the AI arena. We will have the Turtle Bastion versus the Glass Cannon Collective. This will be quite an interesting match. Well, I thank you all for watching, and keep an eye out for the third and final matchup. It's going to be, once again, the Turtle Bastion versus the Glass Cannon Collective. That match will be a best of 5, so the first team to win 3 rounds in a row will be victorious in this batch of battles. Thank you for stopping by, thank you for watching, and I will see you all the next time.